Welcome back to Bio News Network. We're actually covering severe thunderstorm activity in the region of Oklahoma going into Texas. It's been a very, very turbulent day as far as very, very turbulent weather, severe thunderstorms in the region, tornado watches sporadically throughout the day in the region of Texas going into Oklahoma. As we had mentioned before in our previous updates, we anticipated that along the dry line of this system, as this low pressure system kind of takes a grip on the region of Oklahoma and Texas, that there would be significant thunderstorm activity as well as possibility of tornado watches throughout the day. We reported earlier today the 27th April of thunderstorm activity primarily in the area of Yuma, Colorado, and then we just saw a complete band of supercells as well as thunderstorms just completely in a cluster all throughout the region of Oklahoma going into Texas, even in southeast Nebraska, Kansas area. We're seeing areas of all the way up to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We saw significant weather actually occurring. If we take a closer look, comparing to what we had from the satellite imagery only about maybe 8 or 9 hours ago, we can actually see that line of precipitation actually making its way further and further, lining up with the I-35. We've been using the I-35 corridor as a marker for this system as it makes its way, because in prior weeks, the I-35, anything east of the I-35, in the second day or third day of the systems making its way into the Texas region, represented significant thunderstorm activity as well as tornadoes. But in this case, we actually saw significant weather. We are hoping that and praying that there was no serious loss of casualties or loss of life as a result of any tornadoes touching down in the region of Oklahoma and north central Texas today. We saw significant warnings for tornado alerts in the region of near Wichita Falls, Lubbock, Texas, just to name a few, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just later on in the evening, we saw near Norman, Oklahoma, there was a tornado watch. Very, very powerful, very, very tight supercell clusters of severe thunderstorms moving up and down along this line, sort of parallel to this line that we actually see here on our satellite imagery. We were taking a closer look at storms all the way south to Abilene, Texas this evening, all the way up to about Tulsa, Oklahoma, with reports of hail, golf-sized hail in the region, different tornado watches sporadically on the radar. So definitely it is going to be a serious situation going into the early morning of the 28th of April, as well as going into the day. We'll have to monitor and see what are all the different weather elements are going to align to see if there's going to be as many thunderstorms as well as tornado possibilities for tomorrow also. If we take a closer look at the weather watches, it's actually, we can see that there's actually significant weather watches for the area of Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Missouri, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, Lubbock, Texas. We saw a lot of severe thunderstorms simply just touching down in this region along the border of Oklahoma going into Texas. We anticipate that as this dry line actually makes its way further east, Then those systems will actually start shifting further in to East Oklahoma as well as East Texas, going into the regions of Arkansas and Louisiana. So that's what we're actually anticipating for tomorrow. So it's going to be a serious situation as that cold front kind of collides with all of that Gulf moisture that is actually going to be fueling these severe thunderstorms. If we take a closer look, we actually see additional severe weather is actually in the region of Wisconsin also. There's actually a trough that's actually making its way into the area through a strong southerly, southwesterly mid-level flow. The dew points in this region are in the 60s and 70s. We will actually show you that also in this forecast. And if you remember, the dew points has a lot to do with the saturation of water in the atmosphere. So combined with the Gulf and all the Gulf moisture as well as the moisture in the atmosphere, we actually see the dew point line actually lining up with these severe thunderstorms actually in the region along the border of Oklahoma and Texas. Do keep in mind also what we're actually looking at is also what's called steep lapse rates. And that's where the temperature actually changes rapidly with increase in height, in altitude, and coupled with steep lap rates as well as modest CAPE, which is the convective available potential energy in the region. We do anticipate that there's going to be additional thunderstorm activity for the 28th April. It's going to be a serious situation. We do anticipate that as this system makes its way east, what will actually happen is that there's going to be a warming trend in the southwest once again. A lot of this area is under extreme severe drought. So you can actually see that with the cold front moving into the southern Great Plains, and then you have a body of very, very warm air to the west of it and very, very dry air under the drought monitor. This is all a prescription for very, very severe weather. But the areas, the states that are close to the Gulf of Mexico are very, very saturated simply because there's a lot of moisture, and the sea surface temperature of the Gulf of Mexico is actually going up. So we anticipate that there's going to be additional thunderstorm activity. May is going to be a very, very heavy month for thunderstorms, possibly more tornadoes. It's usually, if you actually take a look at the chart for thunderstorm activity, usually in the region of the southern states, increased tornado activity actually increases towards the latter part of May and the latter part of April, and then actually peaks into the first week or two of May. So with all of these conditions combined with the drought region of the southwest, we anticipate that there's going to be it's going to be a very busy month for the month of May for thunderstorm activity. If we actually take a closer look, we can actually see that this band of very, very warm, saturated air, and as we mentioned, the sea surface temperatures of the Gulf of Mexico, they are definitely supplying as far as convective energy for the development of thunderstorms going into the southern states such as Louisiana. We anticipate that there's going to be significant thunderstorm activity for the regions of North Louisiana, also Mississippi and Alabama towards the latter part of this week, Thursday and Friday, as this system actually makes its way across. And the dew points are just simply pretty high right now. We are looking at pretty significant bulk sharing at the higher altitudes. The wind gusts are pretty high, which is going to increase the chance of circulation and increase vorticity of these tornadoes as they make their way across. Possible tornadoes and thunderstorms, development of supercell thunderstorms with damaging winds as well as hail. And we actually saw the dew point line actually modify throughout the day and we just see dew points are in the low 70s, high 60s, and that is just a significant amount of moist, very, very moist air, which is going to fuel additional thunderstorm activity as this low actually makes its way further into southeast Texas. We're going to see that those thunderstorms are going to be developing along the Arkansas, Louisiana, as well as Texas border towards the tomorrow, going into the latter part of the week. So that is actually, we're tracking several storms at this time. We were taking a closer look at storms that were just east of Denver, near Cheyenne Wells, and all the way up to Sterling, Colorado. And we saw strong cells just north of Yuma and near Kirk, Colorado, on the radar. And also, as we mentioned before, there's significant watches right now. The latter part, the night of the 27th for Oklahoma City, as well as Kansas City, Tulsa, Oklahoma, also Wichita, Kansas, and also Lubbock, Texas. So we're actually continuing to track all the different developments on the radar. We will try to bring it to you as soon as possible in our next update. And as always, please remember to try and stay safe if you're in these areas that are affected by the severe thunderstorms. Also keep in mind that please share this video with friends and family who may be in these areas that are affected. Also, we would appreciate here at Bow News Network, as we bring you additional updates, to share this video, especially with residents in the area along the Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana border, because we anticipate that in the next 24 hours those thunderstorms are actually going to shift quite a bit to the east, and those residents in those states are going to be affected by very, very changing conditions for the weather. So as always, please remember to bow to the weather. We appreciate all of our subscribers, and as always, thank you so much and have a great day.